All right, my geoprocessors, let's keep going with this stuff. And before we continue with our geoprocessing, let's stop being lazy, shall we? And by, you know, it's all me. Okay, from the analysis ribbon, click on environments right here. Just left click that. And in here, this is where we can actually tell it, look, let's stop saving stuff to this GeoPro basics geodatabase and let's save it right here where I'm doing the good stuff, right? So environments, it's the kind of default settings for where things are going to be saved or how certain things are going to be handled. And so this is really important when you start to do true analysis, when you really get into this hardcore geoprocessing stuff. Very good with every project to get in and set these things right off the bat. Um, I'm lazy and I'm making it up as I go. And to be perfectly honest, we're not turning this into a boss or like the board of supervisors or something like that to make big decisions. We're just playing around. So I kind of skipped it, but it was getting annoying. So let's fix this here. Okay, the only a few things we need to look at. You can move up and down and you can see stuff that other options you have, but we don't really care about those at the moment, not for this exercise anyway. What we care about is this first one, the workspace. We have current and then scratch. And current workspace is effectively where is it going to save everything just by default, right? Without us telling it where to go. And so it always does just that initial project geodatabase. But if you hit this browse thing here and go, we don't want computer, just go to folders. Let me scroll over here. So we've got folders under project. Double click on GeoPro Basics. Okay, and we want this Geoprocessing 1 geodatabase. So double click that. And then just single left click on UTM NAT83. Okay, and if you accidentally keep clicking too far, you can always just hit this up one to take you back. Okay, but just single click right here, hit OK. And so what we're saying is, hey, when I'm exporting some, new feature class or whatever it is, save it here rather than that basics one. The Scratch workspace, not as important. In fact, we're going to leave that as is. It's like, think of Scratch paper. It's something you have that the idea is you're going to toss it. It's just there for you to work out some calculations or jot some notes down or whatever, right? So when it's working on some things, but it doesn't need to necessarily save it for keeps, that's what Scratch workspace is talking about. And fine, leave it there. It's stuff we don't really care about. It's more for the computer. So we'll leave that there. And then the other thing we want to do here is output coordinates. The output coordinate system, well, it's not as crucial because by default, it's going into a container that's going to force it to have this UTM NAT83 coordinate system. Might as well hit the drop down. We can select any of these layers that we have. So I'll just hit California and it puts in that coordinate system. So it's a way to ensure that everything is going to be using this coordinate system. So it's all the same. And so our analysis, it's the good stuff. Okay. So once we have that, let's hit OK. And it doesn't, make any obvious changes, but we hit OK. It should be good. We'll hit save right here. And so now we're ready to have a little smoother, less frustrating geoprocessing experience. And so from here, let's go ahead. Let's right click and remove California. And let's even right click and remove this Cal Counties one to get rid of that. And we'll just zoom in to LA County. And so what you can do, let's show some other little tricks here and there. I could do the shift and drag my cursor and do the little zoom in box. I could do that if I wanted to. Well, let's try this way. Right click on LA County and Where is it? Zoom right here. Zoom to layer. Okay. So if I click that, it's just going to zoom into that maximum extent, which in this case is simply LA County. So it's another way to get to this location, right? Now, if I still had, other things attached to it, maybe I did LA County and something else, it would zoom into that extent, right? So it's just what's the maximum extent of this feature class. And as we zoom in, you can see this is not the greatest representation of the county I've ever seen. This is blocky and chunky. A lot of, stiff angles in here. This doesn't exactly look like the California coastline, right here. Some of this stuff, yeah, it's angular, at the top, but that's rough. And the reason for that is, if you recall, we got this from the counties feature class that made up the entire US, right? So when this was made, it was not made for this scale. The feature class was not designed with the idea that someone would extract LA from it and zoom into that. It was more a case of, at most you zoom into an entire state or half of the country or the whole country or something like that, right? So that said, we're going to keep going with it because we're just playing, and we're just seeing how these tools work. But if I'm doing real work and I say, I have a boss, I have some map I need to produce, or some, information, make a table, chart, something, get some numbers to somebody. It's going to go to the, board of supervisors to make decisions, or it's crucial for some big financial deal or something like that. I'm not going to move forward with this, okay? Because it's too clunky. I could do some analysis, get some information, but it turns out I'm actually including things that are in a neighboring county, or I'm missing some stuff that's actually inside of LA County because these lines are coarse, because they're not really precise to the shape of the county, right? So if that is the case, if you're doing this kind of work and you see that, okay, my data, it's not the proper scale for what I'm doing, just go out to the internet, right? Go look for it. If you don't have something that works, go to LA County's GIS website, see if they have a nice, higher resolution feature class for the county. If they don't have something, maybe, go to LA City. Maybe they have something that works, or the state of California, or whatever. Just kind of look around, right? And find something that is, it's better than this, right? That you don't have islands that look like little rectangles and all of that. Okay, so that's just word of advice. Future little a bit of advice if you're working with this stuff. But for us, hey, we're cool. We're fine. Ever forward, ever forward. All right, what we're gonna do is we are going to add some more things in here. And in fact, let's go ahead. Let's do this big, difficult one. This cal underscore and its block group. This is a file containing census data. And I have this block group thing for the entire country. It's huge. And if you bring that in, depending on the processor you have and the memory you have and all of that on your computer, it can take forever for this thing to draw, right? So I went ahead and I just clipped it down to California itself, but we're going to take this and bring it down to just what's in LA. So left click, Cal block group, bring that in. And so there's a lot going on, and you can see in here, this is a good look at this. So this one is a much nicer, resolution, nicer scale. All right, we can actually see like harbors and actual nuance and stuff like that, as opposed to these chunky lines. All right, so that's that kind of shows this whole scale issue that we have. But nonetheless, we're going to move forward. We'll see what the result looks like here. But what I want to do is I want to get back into my tools and do some more geoprocessing, learn a new one. I'm going to go ahead and hit tools here, bring this up. I don't want dissolve this time. I want to type in clip. Okay. And so we have some different options: clip layer, clip raster, clip locator, pairwise clip, these different things right here. What we don't have, in fact, I'm going to double check. Yeah, we don't have anything like that. I don't have a batch clip. Let's see. If I left click on that, yeah, yeah. Okay. A few things. Sorry, I'm just thinking as I'm going here. So pairwise clip, ignore it, whatever. Input features or data set. I can hover with this little eye thing, the features that will be clipped. Okay, and another thing to do, let's look at our cartoon. This is what the clip tool is. It's wonderful. It's a great one that you use quite often to simplify what you're dealing with, right? When you have these big data sets, bring it down to the area in question. So what we're going to do is we're going to clip everything to LA County. Okay, so we don't have to worry about stuff that's outside of our study area. So if I go back here, input, that's the big thing. And then clip feature is that cookie cutter that we're using, right? We're going to overlay that. And anything from the input that falls within, the clip feature, that's what's going to be given, in the output. That's going to be that resulting feature class that we have. So for input features or data set, we want this California block group. Clip features, we want LA County. All right, so we're taking this big thing. We're just going to have returned the stuff that falls within LA County. And if we check here, oh, son of a gun, why is it making it there? We did the thing. And we go back to environments here. We got that. Does it show our workspace in this one? Son of a gun, I swear to God. You saw me, right? Rewind the tape. I hit it. I hit okay. Should have worked. I tell you what. All right, so I'll tell it here. Folders in here. I want this. And then I'll go ahead and in here, double click that, and I'll name it, and I'll call it LA Block Group, BLKGRP. I'll hit save that. All right, we'll run this and then we'll investigate. And it's thinking, and some of these, the bigger the data set, the longer it can take. So we'll just kind of hang. Looks like, look at what worked. Love that little check mark. Fantastic. And yeah, why would you change the color? So if I remove that, you can see it's just things that kind of fit within here. And we have what are called slivers, where clearly, here, let's do this. You don't have to do it. I'm just trying to prove a point here. So we have that. And we got these kind of continue out. So really what it is that our sloppy LA County clip thing doesn't really line up with the LA County boundaries in here. And of course, the easy thing to do, we could do the select by attributes as well. We could even dissolve our block groups to get a better looking LA County. The actual borders of LA County. We could do that, but we've come this far. Why bother? But what it's showing is that we've got stuff in neighboring counties that are included here. So this is a good point. I'm going to tell you, this is not me being lazy and trying to find you a good LA County to start with. No, far from it. And it's not me being lazy and having us, do it properly, like going back and re-recording stuff and all that. No. Yeah, clearly I'm lazy with these things, but we'll just say it's a good teaching moment. That's what I'm all about, to show you how having poor data can get you poor results, right? That garbage in, garbage out kind of stuff right here. So be aware of that, but we're going to continue on. We're not going to worry about that stuff right now. So I'm going to remove this California block group. Okay, I can zoom to layer to get right back here, right? And then I can go back into my catalog, and let's see. So we did that one. Don't need the counties anymore. There's our thing we just made, but we have place, polygon, schools, and USGS faults. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add all three. So I left clicked on place poly just once, hit shift, and then clicked on USGS faults to grab all three of these things. Left click, hold, and drag, and bring it in here. So the points here, these little purple points on here, are the schools. Right? The lines are faults from the United States Geological Survey. And then this place poly, if we zoom in fact, I'm going to turn off my schools. If I click on any of these, like there's Glendale, the big blob is Los Angeles, but we've got Burbank. We've got these, communities around there. So rather than having just points, like on a map to show city of LA and all that kind of stuff, we have the actual city boundaries. That's what we're looking at, kind of a more useful, idea of where these cities actually are, where their borders are, and all that. You dig? So okay, we bring that in, and I can just kind of. In fact, let's turn them back on. So we brought these three in. Here, let me hit save real quick. All right, here's what we're doing. We're going to clip these. But first, let's go back to environments. You son of a gun. So current works. So is it because I was lazy with the scratch one? Oh, right. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Don't embarrass me, ArcGIS, not in front of my students. Let's change the scratch workspace to see if that's the deal. So folders, Geoprocessing, Geoprocessing. Yes, let's do it right there and hit OK. All right, we got everything that looks like it should be. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to hit save. We saw this, right? You're all looking at what I'm doing. Okay. All right. What I want you to do, go into your Geoprocessing tab here, or just click on Tools. Clip should still be there. Now, this input features or data set and all this stuff, it's giving you like this. It's giving us the X because I removed it. That's the thing. It's not there right now, right? So it's like, I don't know where this thing is, but we don't care because we're done with that. I'm going to pick another one. And so here's the problem, right? And this is why I search for that batch option. It would be really nice since we have, multiple feature classes that we want to clip to the same extent to be able to do that all at once. We don't have that option loaded in here. Now, what we could do is we could write our own script, or we could create something that is a batch clip tool, effectively, and have it run through and all that. Beyond the scope of what we're doing here, it's definitely a case if I'm working for, say, the County of Los Angeles, and I know I'm going to have to clip things to the County of Los Angeles, quite often if I'm getting new data sets coming in, I would take the time to sit down, write that script out in Python or whatever, and load it in to the thing, and then I got this tool I can use. We don't have that. We're not building that right now. I ain't got time to remember how to write a script. It's been a few years. So instead, you're going to have to do this one at a time. Okay. So just select the first one. We're going to do schools. We have to do the faults and the place polygons. So click schools, clip feature still LA County. The name, okay, well that at least is saved there, but I think that's just because it was the last thing we did. I'm not gonna worry, but I'm just gonna call this LA underscore schools. Okay, so that's what you do, and you hit run. what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop the video here because you don't need to watch me do this over and over. Um, but so I'll stop here. But what you need to do between now and the next video is go through and clip everything to our clunky LA County border. Okay. And then get rid of the stuff that the bigger stuff, the original schools and faults and all of that, and just have these LA County feature classes in here, right? By the next video. All right. All right. Have fun. Have fun. See you in a bit.